2022. Would you welcome Cold Chisel?
That was Cold Chisel, Home and Broken Hearted, an Aussie rock band back in the 70s, 80s, and through the 90s in different forms, but still going today. Cold Chisel. They've had some tours. They're really grouped. Great Aussie band led by Jimmy Barnes. A great solo artist as well in his own right. So we always enjoy Cold Chisel. They're actually a band, a great Aussie band that never really made it overseas. They had a couple of attempts to into the US, but never quite sort of, I think family reasons and band issues, and never quite sort of stuck into the US market. But yeah, great Aussie band called Jizzle. Hope you enjoyed that. We always start with a song. So this is What is Real Estate Tokenization show, where I host, and I'm Luis Miguel Alexo from Brick BC Projects. We tokenize Australian property, focusing on A-class luxury residential properties here in Australia. My co-host today, Jake, he's actually not able to make it. He's struggling with his voice, so he won't be in today. So I'm flying solo today. Shout out to Jake. Hope you're recovering well, mate, and doing all those right things to look after your voice. And as I said, it's one of those things. With the voice, once it's gone, you got to rest it. So it takes a long time to recover. I've been there a few times, so I'm sort of an expert at little voices that are lost, and then you got to find that voice again. So shout out to Jake, speedy recovery, mate. Yeah, look, in terms of today's show, we're talking about the real estate tokenization fundamentals, and with that, there was sort of three areas I wanted to cover around the fundamentals, and in particular around one, in terms of the actual real estate property, in terms of what is the model around in terms of the approach to actually tokenizing a property. So we'll go into that a bit in details. And then sort of talk about the blockchain in terms of what blockchain do you tokenize them on. And lastly, in terms of just talking about traditional real estate versus tokenized real estate. So we'll go into that, talk about those three areas about the fundamentals of real estate. So, but yeah, just today actually I'm on the road, literally in the car at the moment. I'm doing the show. Going from Brisbane to Gold Coast. So I've got some meetings on Gold Coast today. Just having a look at some properties, some meetings with some people some developers that we've engaged one with, and one we're actually talking with at the moment as well to come part of our team of build developers that we buy our properties from. So I'm going out on the Gold Coast today because those ones are coming later on in the year. So in the first series, we've got 11 properties, and we've got 3 later on in the year that come from the Gold Coast. So so just on the road today, down to the beautiful Gold Coast. Always show you some scenery on my brick walk down the Gold Coast. So I hope you enjoy that. But yeah, look, today's show, as I said, it's about focusing on the fundamentals of tokenized real estate, and with that, basically going to those 3 areas that I mentioned before. But again, this show is obviously the objective of this show is to educate around what is real estate tokenization, and we always start with the very basics because we got people coming in, people listening, but that coming into tokenized real estate for the first time. They want to know what the basics are first. So we'll start with the basics, and in terms of tokenized real estate. So what is it? In its very basic example that I use, I always go back to some of you have done it. Some of you have thought of about actually buying a property with other people, where you've gone on a journey together. So you might have, for example, identified, say, a property, say it's $500,000 property, and you get 4 other people, so 5 people together. You raise, each one put $100,000 into the pot. Is then going with that $500,000, go and actually settle on the property, buy the property, settle, go on a journey together, collect the rent each month, each week, whatever the case may be, pay your expenses in relation to the property. So you're actually now in a partnership together of 5 people owning that real estate property, and you're on a journey together, and you'll reap the rewards and so forth on that journey. Tokenized real estate is very, very, very much the same. It's basically a group of people going on a journey together, owning a property, owning all the benefits and rights come from that owning that property. So rather than just being 5 people, now we're talking about a global of partners, each owning the right to that property. So it might be 40,000. So if that property is broken up into 40,000 pieces, as we call tokens, everybody could have one token, and divided by the full cost of the property. So only one token or many tokens in that property. So then you're on a journey together. So then you got a global group of people that are owning the rights and the benefits of that property and getting on a journey together. And again, the models that's the basic fundamentals. Everybody's got their own model in terms of how they do it. Like we've got our own at Brick BC Produce, we've got our own model how we tokenize. But the fundamentals are the same. It's basically breaking up a property into many pieces and what we call tokens, and everybody has one or many tokens in that property that share the rights in it. So that's just sort of basic, very, very basic sort of around what is tokenized real estate. The beauty about it, obviously, is that it's on the blockchain. So the transparency is there, so everybody knows that in terms of the tokens, the ownership of that property. So it's very much transparent, and the ability to take it global, where basically anyone from all corners of the globe can actually own a stake in that property via the tokens. So again, this is what blockchain is doing, is actually providing the ability to anybody from all corners of the globe to own a piece of property. And those properties can come from anywhere. So we're doing ours in Australia. Jake's going to be doing his in Chicago. Sarah and Dan from Hydro Chain, they're doing theirs in Wisconsin. So again, it's a model that's it's really taking momentum. There are only a few of us in the world doing. I think by last count, there was around probably 20 platforms of tokenized real estate. We're the only ones in Australia. Sarah and Dan actually about to launch theirs soon from Hydro Chain. So again, we're very early, but again, it's a matter of people getting on a journey and basically enjoying the benefits of owning real estate in another country. So, but yeah, look, in terms of the three areas that I wanted to focus on around the fundamentals of real estate, was around in terms of the approach to the actual owning the property. So there's two very obvious models. So basically, one is that you as a token platform, you buy the property and then basically you settle on the property, and then you go and raise the funds for people to come in and actually buy tokens in that property. So that's one approach. Second approach is basically you identify a property that ticks all the boxes. You basically have an arrangement with the person or the company that's selling that property, and then basically you go and raise the funds to buy that property, to settle on that property. We're doing the latter, so we identify the properties first and basically lock those properties in, talk with the owners to buy those properties, and then we go and raise the funds. So again, it's not a right or a wrong. It's we all got different methods of doing it. As I said, that's sort of the two obvious choices. I mean, there's models out there that also raise debt to go in and also borrow the funds to go in with token holders. So again, that's more of a personal in terms of our approach. The problem we were trying to solve is try to avoid the banks and not raise any debt at all. So each property that Brick BC puts up, it's all wholly owned by the token holders. So for us, that was critical. That was the problem we were trying to solve. The clunky systems of the financial systems, the banks in terms of borrowing funds and so forth, and we know what that looks like. So for many years, in terms of where we've been in property ourselves, I'm a CPA accountant myself, and our family's been in property for an equal amount of time, 28 years. So for us is and seeing ourselves and also the people around us and the challenges of the banks that continue to just basically, if you don't fit the box, you basically can't borrow funds, or they restrict you in terms of what funds you can borrow. So it's again, that was the problem we were trying to solve, and again, hence why we basically don't get banks involved in tokenization of property. So, but yeah, there's sort of the two methods. Again, it's not a right or wrong. It's whatever suits the property tokens platform in terms of what problem they're trying to solve, and obviously their model around it all. But yeah, that's sort of to clarify that. There's been a few questions there's been on DMs and Twitter in general, actually around tokenized real estate, and I think there's a bit of confusion. Some people had a bit of confusion around in terms of you have to own the property before you can tokenize it. Again, as I said, it's you can basically identify the property first and then raise the funds to then own the property, the token holders to actually have the rights to that property. So again, in those both cases, the majority of cases, those properties are owned by a special purpose vehicle, a company in America, typically LLC, in Australia, a PTY Ltd company, private company. So those properties, whether you do one way or another, those properties are always held by a company that has the ownership in the title of the property. So the title of the property never changes. So as token holders buy and sell their tokens between each other, the actual title of the property never changes because the title is actually owned by the actual company. So all there is a change is obviously in the actual tokens, buying and sell between the tokens that have got the rights and benefits of that property. So, but yeah, so that's just adding Philly as a request there. So basically, they're the fundamentals around in terms of the holding of the property, the approach them to hold the property. Then obviously, as I said, this is all done on the blockchain. This is obviously where it provides a massive change in terms of the way you can hold and own future property in future using the blockchain. We went down the track in terms of looking at blockchain, how we could solve the problem, and obviously here we are today in terms of ourselves and Jake and all the people tokenizing platforms using obviously blockchain to solve that problem. So again, with there's various platforms. There's the Ethereum blockchain, there's the Ravencoin blockchain, there's the Avalanche blockchain. So there's many blockchains out there. For us, if I can sort of talk from a personal perspective in terms of Brick BC, we actually started on the Ethereum blockchain. So our first Brick Koala token series that we've currently is on sale at the moment, that started on the Ethereum blockchain. We've actually, through some, obviously through the journey, and before we actually knew Ravencoin blockchain, we basically saw some of the issues with Ethereum blockchain, gas fees, and there was a few other fundamentals there that basically we saw Ravencoin solving those issues. So we basically switched to the Ravencoin blockchain to tokenize our real estate properties. So from the second series, which is the Brick Brew onwards, they'll all be on the Ravencoin blockchain. So again, it's there's a few reasons why. I mean, the Ravencoin blockchain is gas fees is non-existent, so it's like you're talking about cents when you're transferring, buying and selling the tokens on the secondary market. So you're talking about cents in gas fees and transaction fees, and also being a great community. Ravencoin has got a great community involved. It's actually a fork of the Bitcoin blockchain. So the founders involved with Ravencoin, one was actually involved with the Bitcoin blockchain, the foundation, but the Bitcoin blockchain wasn't very friendly to tokenize assets on it. So they basically took the fundamentals of the Bitcoin blockchain and basically created a Ravencoin blockchain that's to be purposely built for tokenizing assets. So whether it be real estate, would be NFTs, basically any assets, real life assets that you want to tokenize on a blockchain. The Ravencoin blockchain is very much purposely built to tokenize assets on it. So again, it's the guys. It's a very much a decentralized blockchain. So the community actually drives the direction of the Ravencoin blockchain. So again, it's very, very decentralized compared to some of the other chains out there. Again, it's not a right or wrong. Everybody's got their own reasons. But we see the Ravencoin blockchain as to where we're tokenizing the second and future properties on the Ravencoin blockchain. So that sort of covers around the blockchains side of things. With the comparing the sort of the third part of the basic fundamentals, obviously we've all been used to traditional real estate buying and obviously borrowing funds, some buy cash, and then into traditional real estate. And obviously we see the big future in tokenized real estate, hence why we're doing it. And sometimes people have asked me in terms of, what does that mean? Basically, you'll no longer have traditional real estate. And the answer is no, because at the end of the day, we see tokenized real estate very much complementing traditional real estate. So if you've got a portfolio of real estate that you've had traditionally in terms of borrowed funds or whatever the case may have been, we see that basically tokenized real estate really complementing your traditional real estate. So if you've been in real estate for a long time, it's a way to complement that, because now you can basically buy property from all parts of the world. So if you're in the US, you can buy properties here in Australia. You can go and buy properties in England and all over the world. Obviously, wherever there's a tokenized platforms that people are tokenizing, like us, that are tokenizing real estate in their respective countries. Obviously, you have the ability now to buy properties in other countries that never before that could be done, because obviously each country has rules around foreign ownership and in terms of taxes and all those things that come with it in terms of owning foreign property, which now blockchain actually resolves that. So again, as I said, with comparing traditional real estate to tokenized real estate, I see that that very much being complementary. If anything, it enhances anybody's portfolio. Obviously, if you're starting out in real estate, you're a young person first starting out in real estate, it's always very hard to buy in a traditional way, to go and borrow funds. Obviously, with property values around the world can continue to increase. It's becoming harder and harder for a young couple or a young person to buy real estate in a traditional way. So we see tokenized real estate as a way to transition them into buying real estate, where you can actually buy some initial tokens in a property for as little as $80 or under $100, accumulate and build a portfolio that then you're actually in the market of real estate. Then you're then exposed to the ups of the real estate market. I know here in Australia, particularly Brisbane, where we're tokenizing real estate property, Brick Koala is here in Brisbane, our first Brick Koala token series. But we've had a 26% increase in property values. So it becomes very hard for anybody to own property in a traditional way, especially if you're starting out in property. Again, we've had in the last 12 months, been 26% increase in property values, but it doesn't mean it's going to be the same in the next 12 months. There will be an increase, whether it's 10% or 15%. But again, this is what we're up against, and not just here in Australia, but my colleagues that I speak to around the world, with Jake, what's happening there in Chicago, and I talk to people in England and see what's happening over there. So it's a global thing, and again, property is becoming out of reach for the everyday person. So we see as a way to people to start into property to be able to start their journey and be able to again start accumulating property and start getting exposure to property. So basically, we basically see very much tokenized real estate as complementing a traditional real estate. Just doing it here. Inviting somebody who's actually asked to speak on the Twitter space here. So hopefully, just trying to add Philly asked for the mic to just I guess added as a speak. I'm not sure whether it's working from your end or not. But anyway, look, they're the sort of fundamentals around tokenized real estate. There's some great resources out there. So we've got our YouTube channel that we've got a lot of this series here that we do. What is real estate tokenization? Is We save all the recordings also on YouTube. I believe Twitter's actually now allowing. They're keeping all recordings of Twitter Spaces beyond the 30 days. But again, we've got that on our YouTube channel, the Rick BC Projects YouTube channel. That we keep all the recordings there. So again, we have guests on from time and again, and basically that's relevant to tokenized real estate. So we've got some speakers lined up next few weeks. So looking forward to those. So again, it's again there's a lot of obviously a lot of pain at the moment in the crypto markets. Obviously, I myself invest in cryptos. Obviously, we've got blockchain. So again, it's be very cautious in terms of using debt to borrow when you're actually investing in the cryptos. Again, not financial advice, but it's one of those things that you've got to be very cautious. And I think the crypto market this time around is in this the drop that we've had. Obviously, it's been hyper impacted by the debt that's been in the market before in the last drop in 2018, 2007, 2018. That there wasn't much, there was no debt. But obviously with DeFi, we've actually got a lot of debt in the system now. But yeah, look, just making sure that people out there just hope you're doing okay. Just remember you're here for the long term in terms of investing in cryptos. Unfortunately, our property tokens don't get impacted by what happens in the crypto market very much in terms of if obviously property tokens are backed by real life, real world real estate. So regardless of what the crypto market does, it has no impact on the actual property tokens. So again, just that's really important to know. Yes, we are tokenizing on a blockchain, but there's no impact as to what, so if you're on the Ethereum blockchain or on the Ravencoin blockchain where the properties are being tokenized, the crypto price of the Ethereum or the Ravencoin price, it actually has no impact on the actual property token. Just remember that the property token is backed by the value of the actual real life property. So we're not talking about virtual property. We're talking about real life property. So each property token is backed by real life property. So again, properties go up in prices. Here in Australia, in Brisbane in particular, that property residential real estate goes up. Basically doubles every 10 years. So I know other markets are different, but Australia, that's how our market works. Residential homes, they double up in price every 10 years. That's not the same with apartments. Apartments are very different, but we're talking about homes. We've actually got land to the title. Residential homes here in Australia double every 10 years. So again, this is just a reminder in terms of the property token is not impacted by crypto prices. Hey, Phil, you got your hand up there? Yeah, come in. I'm not sure whether...
Rick, thank you. Thank you as always.
As I know I've invited you in, it's still showing as trying to connect. So, again, I'm not...
I can hear you. Can you hear me?
I'm not sure whether you can speak or not there.
I can hear you. Can you hear me?
Maybe I tried to just try and get Philly in. Just remove you, and maybe I try to... Yeah, Philly's trying to come in, but he's having troubles coming up as speaking. Let's try again here. Just added you again, Philly, see if that works for you from your end. Still thinking there. I try to add you as a co-host, whether it makes a difference. Hang on a second.
Hold on.
Philly there. Just bear with us for a sec. Philly's actually asked for the mic to ask a few questions there. How's that, Philly? Working for you? I can't hear you. Still thinking from my end. It's showing that it's trying to connect with you.
All right, can you hear me now?
So I'm not too sure what's going on there. It's a bit hard for me to see your DMs because I'm actually in the car, so I'm a bit restricted. So apologies, Philly. So as we sort of wrap up the show, that was sort of the main points I wanted to cover around the fundamentals of tokenizing real estate. But yeah, look at probably in terms of some mentions in the past week and the upcoming week. The past week we actually made an announcement from Brick BC perspective. We actually announced an in-principle agreement with a property developer builder on the Gold Coast, Houseworks, led by their managing director and founder, Ali Rayani. So they build luxury real estate properties. So we've signed an in-principle agreement with them to a few things. A few outcomes for us is basically it gives us a priority to buying their properties. And secondly, also gives us a bit of an insight in terms of what properties they actually are building over the next 5 years and beyond. So I've actually been given some insights already. We've been talking for, so it's a contact that I've known for a while. And so we've been talking about their properties that they've got lined up. So they've got already 11 properties lined up for the Gold Coast. They're about to finish their first one. So for us, it's about identifying what's coming up and be able to identify which ones ticks all our boxes and be able to secure those properties. So again, we're very fortunate and to have that arrangement with Houseworks, where we can have those 4 sites in terms of these beautiful luxury properties that Houseworks is building on the Gold Coast and Brisbane. So they're also going to start building in Brisbane. So they're trying to find sites now to build in Brisbane. So we'll be having a look at those soon in terms of what's coming up. Those ones in Brisbane probably more like in year 2 for us. We're sort of rolling those things out, and so we made the announcement actually only yesterday. So it's on our website to find the details of it. We've shared on our socials. That's from our perspective what's happening from an announcement perspective. In terms of other things that have been happening, obviously around our community, both the Brick family community and also the Ravencoin communities, the STO market guys, Kyle and Herwig, the founders, they actually, as we speak, they actually tokenize their business. So they do. They basically provide a lot of content around tokenizing of assets. So they have their YouTube and there's other socials. They educate in terms of what tokenizing assets is all about, and they keep track in terms of all the tokenized assets, whether it be real estate property or businesses and so forth, to be tokenized on the blockchain. So they're big supporters of us, big supporters also of the Ravencoin community. So they actually tokenized their business today. So they launched the bell was rung today. So now you can actually buy a token in their business. So they do the education, but they also do consulting as part of their business. So they got a few strings to their bow. So again, congratulations if you guys are hearing this, Kyle and Herwig and the team at the STO Market. Congratulations on your launch. I hope it all goes well, and all the best ahead. Thank you for your support, and let's continue the journey. I'm not too sure, Philly, if you're able to. I can see your hand,
can you hear me? Can you hear me now?
So I can't hear from my end. Not too sure whether people can actually hear you, but.
Great. Can I see applause if anybody else can hear me?
But Yeah. Apologies, Philly, can't hear you, mate. The Twitter spaces are fantastic things, but sometimes you get these quirky things that you can't control. But yeah, probably in terms of things mentions, also have we have Sunny shows, the WAGME platform. That's Sunny. Sunny's a NFT collector on the Ravencoin blockchain. I reckon she's got the record of NFT art pieces that she's collected from the Ravencoin blockchain, from Ravencoin artists. So she's actually set up her own platform, WAGME NFT, where basically it's a way for her to help artists to get themselves out there, so they can put their art there, people can buy and sell there. So again, it's something that she's passionate about, and she's got her space shaft here up in just under half an hour's time. So joining the show, listen to what art is being put out there as NFTs, and I think she might have an artist today showcasing what they do as artists. So always very interesting to see the processes. For ourselves, Rick, we're always very passionate about art, especially NFT art that is created by artists on the Ravencoin blockchain. So we for our properties, we buy art, we buy NFT art pieces for our properties. So both tokenized and also our Rick office as well. But for our properties, we actually buy a dozen art pieces for each property. So not only does that token series own the actual artwork, the NFT artwork, but also those art pieces are put into the property. So we actually hang them up on the property, whether it be through a TV screen on the property for the tenants to enjoy, and also a print to put up on the wall as well. So again, there's fantastic art pieces out there. Check out where we buy most of our artwork from Ravenist NFT Marketplace. There's Just NFTs. There's NFT Raven, NFT RVN. So there's various platforms out there that on the Ravencoin blockchain. So we're very strict. We only buy on the Ravencoin blockchain in terms of our artwork to put in our properties. So check it out. I think that's pretty much it that I wanted to cover for today's show. Hope you've got some insights in terms of the fundamentals of tokenized real estate, and just remember, tokenized real estate is to complement your existing portfolio of real estate properties. So, but yeah, sorry I couldn't get Philly into the conversation. He's still trying to connect. Maybe next week, Philly, come on the show and listen to you. But yeah, again, a shout out to the Ravencoin who's joined as well. Cowboys in here as well, and Philly have joined in. So thank you for joining today's space show. And again, I think that's all for me for now. Speedy recovery for Jake. Hope all goes well to have your voice back next week to help me out as the co-host. And yeah, stay safe. Don't work too hard. Be smart, and we'll see you again next week. Bye for now.